这个故事如果你听起来不累，那么你的英语能力在美国日常生活是完全够用的。像学母语一样学英语，我们开始吧。
He is a famous war hero. He can stay in a safe country and never fight again. So, why would a 19-year-old boy choose to go back to hell? That boy was Billy Lynn. To the world, he was a brave soldier. But Billy did not feel like a hero. He just felt very tired. A few weeks ago, Billy was in Iraq. His boss, a man named Shroom, got shot. Shroom fell to the ground. The enemy was shooting hard. In that dark moment, Billy did a very brave thing. He risked his own life to help his boss. Billy did not know there was a camera. An old camera on the ground recorded everything. The video went on the news in America. People saw Billy run into the fire. America was sad at that time, and the war was going bad. The people needed a hero. They needed good news. So the country made Billy a hero. He became famous overnight. The army gave him a silver star. This was a very high medal for bravery. They also named his group of 8 the Bravo Squad. They sent the soldiers back to America on a big tour for 2 weeks. The army wanted everyone to see the heroes. Today was the last day of the tour. It was Thanksgiving Day. It was a big holiday for American families to be together. But the soldiers were far from home in Dallas, Texas. They had a big job today. They had to stand on a stage during a big football game right next to Beyoncé, the most famous singer in America. 40 million people would watch Bravo Squad on TV. It was morning, and the sun was bright. Outside the hotel, the 8 soldiers stood together. The soldiers were loud, and they laughed. The boys joked about the girls they met last night. They drank a lot last night, so now they held their heads in pain. Dime was their new boss, and he was tough. When he looked at the soldiers, the laughing stopped. "Listen to me," Dime said. His voice was cold. "You are soldiers. You wear the uniform. People are watching you today. This is the biggest day. If you mess up today, it is bad. It is worse than messing up in a war. Do not be stupid." While Dime was talking, the movie maker stood next to them. He was always on his phone. The movie maker wanted to make a movie about Bravo Squad. He told people the story was beautiful. He said the boys loved each other like brothers in a bad war. Just then, a very long white Hummer pulled up. It was a giant, expensive car. The 8 soldiers got in. The inside of the car was amazing. It had soft seats, and it had a bar. "Now this is good," one soldier said. The movie maker smiled a big smile. "Good news, boys," he said. "A big movie star wants to be in our movie. If the star says yes, other stars will say yes. If the movie gets made, you all get money. $100,000 for each of you." The car got very loud. $100,000! The boys went crazy. They were poor kids, so the soldiers talked about what they would buy. Cars, houses, girls. As they talked, a woman working for the team got in the car. She smiled a tight smile, saying she did not know what the soldiers would do on stage. But the rich boss who owned the stadium loved big shows. Billy sat near the front. His head hurt and pounded really bad. He asked the woman for a pill. She said she would find a pill at the stadium. Billy looked out the window. The car was loud, and his friends were loud. But Billy felt very quiet inside. He thought about Shroom. Shroom was not a normal soldier. He liked to think and read. Sometimes He would walk around the camp in Iraq and read poems out loud. He said the poems were good for their brains. Then, Billy thought about the funeral 2 days ago. Shroom was gone. At the funeral, Dime read Shroom's favorite poem. The poem asked a sad question. When tomorrow comes, who will forgive us for the bad things we did today? In the past, the boys laughed at Shroom and his poems. But at the funeral, nobody laughed. Billy felt a cold shiver. He would never hear Shroom's voice again. If Billy yelled Shroom's name right now, Shroom would not answer. Death was real. It was an empty hole. Thinking about death made Billy look at his hands in the moving car. He thought about his sister, Catherine. Catherine was why Billy was in the army. A few years ago, Catherine was in a bad car crash. Her face was cut wide open. She needed 170 stitches and almost died. While Catherine was in the hospital bed, her boyfriend left her. The boyfriend ran away. Even now, Billy's hands shook with anger when he thought about it. He found the boyfriend's new car and smashed the car to pieces. The police came. Billy's father helped Billy with the judge. But the judge gave Billy a choice: go to jail or go to the army. So, Billy went to the army. Catherine felt it was all her fault, terrified that Billy would die because of her. The doctor said the war made Billy sick in his mind, so he did not have to go back to Iraq. And Catherine was waiting for him today. To save his life, she had to prove Billy was crazy. She had to tell the doctor her brother was a sick coward. She knew this would break Billy's pride and destroy him as a man. But if she let him go back to the war, he might really die. To Catherine, a broken brother was better than a dead brother, so she was ready to fight to keep him home. Now, sitting in the moving car, Billy looked at the people walking on the street in Dallas. The people looked happy, and they looked safe. Billy thought about walking on the streets in Iraq. In Iraq, every step was scary. The soldiers had big guns, but they were always afraid. A donkey making a noise could mean a bomb. A bird flying up could mean a gun. A man taking a lighter out of his pocket could mean death. The soldiers were always tight like a pulled string. Shroom used to smile at them in Iraq. "This is the life of a warrior," Shroom would say. Billy knew that feeling would never leave him. After a short drive, the white car stopped at the huge stadium. The boys got out and walked to their special seats. The rich boss gave the soldiers the best seats. A big screen showed their faces. The whole stadium yelled and clapped. People walked up to the soldiers. They wanted to shake hands and say, "Thank you." Billy pulled away. He sat on the end, but too many people touched him. Billy asked Dime if he could move to the middle. Dime looked at Billy hard. "Hold the line, Billy. We stand together." Dime said no. So Billy sat there. He listened to people say things they did not understand. The woman working for the team came by. Billy asked for the pill again. She said she forgot and would go get the pill now. The rich boss walked up. He took the soldiers to a room. There were news reporters in the room. There were also beautiful cheerleaders. The rich boss stood in front of the cameras. He told them he loved America, and the video of Billy made him proud. He did not know war, but he believed this war was simple. Just good guys fighting bad guys. He thought the people in Iraq must be happy the Americans were there. Billy listened to the rich boss, and then he looked at the cheerleaders. Billy saw one curly-haired cheerleader. She looked at Billy, and Billy felt his heart beat a little faster. Then the reporters asked questions. They asked very dumb questions. "Does the army help in Iraq?" a reporter asked. Billy thought of the real answer. The real answer was, "Yes, we make new enemies every day. We make angry men who want to blow themselves up." But Dime answered with a fake smile. "Yes, we are changing things step by step," Dime said. "What do you do for fun?" another reporter asked. Billy knew the real answer. The real answer was, "We masturbate." The boys gave nice answers, but they were boring. They talked about reading and sports. A reporter looked at Billy. "You fought a man with your hands," the reporter said. "You killed him up close. That is an honor. How did it feel?" Billy's stomach felt heavy. He looked down. He hated this question, and he hated the word honor. "I did not want to do it," Billy said. His voice was cold. "I am not proud of it. It happened fast. I just did my job." The reporters left. Billy wanted to be alone, so he walked away and hid behind a curtain. The curly-haired cheerleader walked up to him. She smiled, saying she was sorry people were weird. "It is strange," Billy told her. "I am getting clapped for the worst day of my life." The cheerleader nodded. She said her life looked perfect, but she liked to care about real things. She asked Billy if he loved God. Billy thought about it. He said he did not know about God, but he told her about Shroom instead. He talked about the moment his boss died, feeling something big pass through the air. The cheerleader looked at Billy with big eyes. They were shiny. "The world gets very dark," she said softly. "We think all the light is gone, but the light is still there. If we just open the door a little bit, the light will rush in." She touched Billy's arm, saying God wanted them to meet today. They were meant to be the light. She kissed him fast. It was a deep kiss. Billy walked out from the curtain. His face was red. Dime looked at Billy and laughed. "Good God, Billy," Dime said. "You look like you just had sex." Billy did not want to joke. His mind felt heavy. He remembered talking to Shroom about killing. Shroom talked about karma. Shroom said karma was an old word for how things come back to you. Billy had asked Shroom, "What if I do not want to be killed?" Shroom held up a broken pen. He asked a question. "If your pen breaks, but you must finish the book, what do? You use your own blood." Shroom said soldiers are like broken pens. We have to use our own blood to finish the job. There was no going back. The bullet that will kill you is already flying. Later that afternoon, it was time to eat. They went to a big room for a fancy meal. Some football players came over. The players were huge men. "Hey," a football player said, "tell me about your big gun, the heavy machine gun. What does it do to a man?" "It turns him into pink mist," Billy said simply. "Just a cloud of blood." The player's eyes got wide. "What does it feel like to kill?" Billy looked at the huge player. "What does it feel like to hit a man hard on the field?" "You just want to win," the player said. "You just hit as hard as you can." "Yes," Billy said. "It is like that." Billy looked at the players. He knew a sad truth. These people could try to understand, and they could feel sorry for him. But they would never really know. They would never know the smell of the pink mist. They would never know the truth. Billy saw a dead bull's head on the wall. It was huge. The food on the table was very colorful. The red meat and the dead bull's head made Billy's mind jump. Suddenly, a loud noise pulled Billy back to Iraq. Bravo Squad was breaking into a house. The soldiers found guns and a picture of the bad leader. The family in the house was screaming, and the soldiers were yelling. Nobody spoke the same language. It was loud and angry. Shroom said to take the father away. The father fought back, so the soldiers hit him. Shroom told the translator to say the soldiers would bring the father back later. But the mother fell on the floor, crying a terrible cry. The children shook in the corner. The family knew the dark truth. When men with guns take your father in the night, your father does not come back. Billy remembered a little boy in the house. The little boy looked at Billy. The boy's eyes had no life, only cold hate. Billy knew in that second he just made a new enemy forever. Suddenly, a loud voice pulled Billy back to the present. A rich man in a nice suit walked over to the table. He was an oil boss. The oil boss smiled big. "Thank you, boys," the oil boss said loud. "I am going to get more oil here in America. I will do it so you boys can come home. We do not need their oil." Dime stopped eating. He looked at the oil boss, his face hard. Dime did not like this rich man. "No, sir," Dime said. His voice cut like a knife. "Do not get it wrong. We like to kill. That is what you pay us for, right? You pay taxes so we can send the bad guys to hell. If we do not like killing, we are bad soldiers. We are machines that kill, and we are very happy doing it." The oil boss stopped smiling. His face turned red with anger. "Listen to me," Dime told the oil boss. "You can dig for oil in your backyard. That is fine. But do not ever say you do it for us. You do your job. We do ours. You keep digging. We keep killing." If he smiled and said thank you, it would make the oil boss happy. But it would make Dime feel sick inside. If he told the truth, these rich people would hate him. Dime would be totally alone in this country. Dime chose the truth. He chose to be alone. He did not want to be friends with a lie. The angry oil boss walked away. A young waiter walked up to Billy bringing water. The waiter looked at Billy's uniform. "I want to join the army," the waiter whispered. "They said they will pay me $6,000 to join, and I get health insurance." One of Billy's friends heard this. He laughed a sad laugh. "6,000?" the friend said. "Man, I did not get any money when I joined." They sat there. The gap between the rich men eating steaks and the poor boys dying for $6,000 felt as wide as the ocean. An hour later, it was time for the game to start. The soldiers went out to the field. The music started. It was the national song. A big camera went right to Billy's face. Billy stood very still. A tear fell from his eye. The people watching on TV thought Billy was crying for America. They thought Billy was a proud hero. But Billy was not thinking about America. In his mind, Billy was far away, thinking about the curly-haired cheerleader. He saw a safe life, a quiet life. The sun was shining. There were flowers. They had a big dog. The dog was friendly. But then the song ended. In his head, Billy heard his sister crying, "Please stay home." Then Billy heard Dime's voice. "You are a born soldier, Billy." Billy closed his eyes. His mind was tearing in half. The football game started, and the soldiers waited for 2 hours. Then the stage boss ran up to the soldiers. She made them take off their green coats and put on desert fighting clothes. She wanted Bravo Squad to look like they were going to shoot someone right now. The halftime show started. The music was crazy loud. Beyoncé walked to the stage. Bravo Squad had to walk behind the singer. The stage boss yelled at the soldiers, moving them around like plastic toys. "Stand here! Do not move! Look tough!" The soldiers were not heroes here. They were just pieces of wood for the background. The show got wild. Giant fireworks went off. Smoke filled the air. Red flashes hit their eyes. The music shook the ground. To the normal people, it was a fun show. To the soldiers, it was hell. Their bodies remembered the war, and their hearts beat too fast. The fireworks sounded exactly like bombs. The smoke smelled like burning metal. A dancer ran past Billy and bumped into him. "Move out of the way, idiot!" the dancer yelled. Billy froze. He could not breathe. The music faded out, and the stadium faded out. Billy was back in a small town in Iraq. It was the day of the big fight. Billy remembered riding in the army truck. In the memory, the truck stopped. Shroom walked to every new boy, looking in their eyes. "I love you," Shroom said to each boy. A hero is not a man without fear. A hero is a man who is scared to death but keeps walking. Then the soldiers ran out. The noise was crazy. Dust everywhere. Bullets zipped through the air. This was not like training. This was a total mess. Shroom ran to the front. Billy tried to follow, but a wall of flying bullets pushed him back. Then Billy saw it. Shroom got hit. Shroom fell. Men were yelling. Billy did not think. He just ran. Billy ran through the flying bullets and pulled Shroom behind a broken wall. Suddenly an enemy jumped out. The enemy wore normal clothes, but he had a gun. He ran right at Billy. Billy and the enemy fell into a large concrete pipe. It was dark. The enemy screamed in a language Billy did not know. The enemy was strong and wanted to kill Billy. Billy and the enemy hit each other. The two men scratched and rolled in the dirt. Billy could not breathe. The enemy's hands were on Billy's throat. Billy reached down, pulled out his army knife, and pushed it into the enemy. The enemy stopped moving. The blood was hot. "Billy! Billy!" Billy blinked. He was back in the stadium. The show was over. The music stopped. His friends were looking at him. The stage was a mess. Workers were running everywhere to take the stage apart. Nobody told Bravo Squad what to do. The soldiers just stood there. The army heroes were in the way. A big worker with a box walked up. "Get out of the way!" the worker yelled. The worker pushed Dime. Dime got mad. The fight was dirty. It was very brutal. Dime and the worker almost started fighting right there. A rich man in a suit walked by. He saw the soldiers getting angry and rolled his eyes. "Wow," the rich man said. "I am surprised our soldiers act so bad." The soldiers walked back to their seats. They felt tired and dirty. They sat down. A young boy in the row in front of them turned around. The boy had a mean smile. "Hey," the boy said, "is it true what they say about soldiers? Do you guys do gay stuff in the holes you dig? Is that why America is losing the war?" A tough soldier in the squad heard this. His face went blank. A tiny muscle in his cheek jumped and he locked his teeth. The tough soldier smiled a very scary smile. "You should join up and see," the soldier said quietly. Then very fast, he reached over the seat. He put his arm around the boy's neck and pulled hard, squeezing the boy in a tight choke. In 5 seconds, the boy's face turned blue. The boy's eyes rolled back. He passed out and fell over. The soldier let go and sat back down. Nobody saw it happen. The movie maker's phone rang. He talked fast, then looked at the boys. "Okay, let us go to a quiet room," he said. They walked into a small meeting room. The movie maker looked nervous. "So, the rich boss wants to pay for the movie," the movie maker said. "But he wants to change the money. He wants to give you $5,500 each, not $100,000. $5,000. From $100,000 down to $5,000. Dime stared at the movie maker. Billy's stomach tightened. The rich men were playing with the soldiers. They were teasing a dog with a bone, then taking the bone away. "People talk about heroes, but they only care about dollars," the movie maker said quickly, rubbing his hands. "Only money is real." The movie maker said the quiet part out loud. In America, money was the only real God. Everything else was just talk. Billy looked at the movie maker. He felt a cold truth in the quiet room. If they took the small money, the soldiers would let the rich men buy their blood for cheap. They would become fake movie props. Billy felt sick. The room was dead quiet. Nobody reached out for the dirty money. They would rather face the real bullets than sell their souls. The rich boss walked into the room. He looked very calm and cold. He said $5,000 was his only offer. Take it or leave it. Dime started to yell, but the rich boss ignored him. He looked right at Billy. "Billy," the rich boss said, "being a hero is hard for a young boy. It is a heavy load. But you must understand, your story is not your story anymore. Your story belongs to America now. It is our spirit. You show us that America will win." Billy felt a sudden anger. His mind was very clear. "You are wrong," Billy said, his voice strong and sharp. "We did not make a story. We did not make a spirit. That was our life. To you, a hero is just a cheap story. But to us, it is our real blood. You know who respects us more than you? The enemy. The men trying to kill us respect us more than you do." Billy turned around. "Let's go," Billy said. Dime nodded. The soldiers all walked out of the room, leaving the rich boss standing there. As they walked out, a woman working for the team came running. She had the headache pill, but it was too late. The day was ending. It was almost time to go back to the airport. They had to fly back to the war. The curly-haired cheerleader came running down the hall. She wanted to see Billy one last time, so she grabbed him and kissed him hard. "Oh, Billy," the cheerleader cried, "I want to be with you every single minute. I will miss you so much." Billy held her. The dream of the safe house and the dog came back to his head. He looked into her eyes, deciding to test her. "I do not want to go," Billy whispered. "Let us run away. Right now, you and me. We can just leave." The cheerleader stopped crying and stepped back. She looked shocked. "Run away?" she asked. Her voice went high. But you are a hero. You have the medal. You have to go back to the war. That is what heroes do." In that 1 second, Billy woke up. The dream broke completely. Billy watched her walk away. For 2 weeks, he thought he had 2 good choices. He thought he could stay in America and find a safe love or return to his squad. But looking at the empty hallway, he saw the cold truth. The American love was fake. The safety was a lie. Billy had to pick the only real thing left. He had to pick his brothers. He had to pick the proud loneliness of the soldier. Bravo Squad walked down the tunnel to wait for their car. Suddenly, the big stage worker from before was there. The worker brought his friends. They had heavy sticks and wanted to fight the soldiers. The fight broke out fast. Billy grabbed a worker and they fell to the ground. Billy's mind broke completely. Flash! He heard the loud guns in Iraq. Flash! He heard the national song. Flash! He saw the red fireworks. Flash! He saw the blood in the concrete pipe. Flash! He saw the enemy's face. The police ran in and stopped the fight. They pushed the angry workers away. Billy was breathing hard. His face was red and hot with anger, and his eyes were wild. Inside his head, Billy saw Shroom's dead face one more time. The huge feeling passed through his chest again. The soul of the warrior was locked inside Billy now. Dime grabbed Billy's shirt and pulled him up. "Time to move," Dime said. The soldiers walked away from the noise and entered a quiet, empty tunnel. The loud stadium was finally behind them. Just as they started to walk in the dark, Billy's sister Catherine ran into the tunnel. She was crying hard. "Billy, stop!" Catherine yelled. "I talked to the doctor. The doctor is waiting right now. We can go see him. You do not have to go back. Please, Billy, do not go back to die." Catherine was very angry at America. "They use you," she cried. "They step on other countries and they use you. A real hero is brave enough to be himself. Walk away, Billy." Billy looked at his sister. His mind was incredibly clear. Everything looked sharp. Billy saw the whole world. Billy saw the rich men who wanted to use him for money. Billy saw the politicians who wanted to use him for votes. Billy saw the girl who wanted to use him for a good feeling. Billy saw the angry men in Iraq who wanted to kill him. He was just a piece in their game. He was a toy hero. But to himself, he was just a man living his life. Catherine held Billy's arm tight. She loved him so much. She could force him into the car right now and save his life. But as she looked into Billy's eyes, she saw a true soldier. He was ready for his dark destiny. If she dragged him away today, she would keep his body breathing, but she would kill his proud soul. Catherine cried harder. Slowly, her fingers opened. She let his arm slip away. "I am not a hero, Catherine," Billy said quietly. "You think the war is hell, Catherine, but today I learned something. This fake show is the real hell. I am just a soldier. I belong with them. It is not about right or wrong anymore. That is just how it is. I just want you to be proud of me." Catherine hugged his neck, holding him very tight. "I am always proud of you," she cried. "Always." Billy kissed Catherine's head, turned around, and wiped his eyes. Billy walked outside, but to him, the car did not look like a white car anymore. In his mind, it was an old green army truck. Looking at the front, Billy imagined Shroom sitting there, holding his broken pen, writing the book with his own blood. Billy opened the car door and looked inside. Sitting in the dark seat, Billy saw Shroom. It was just a ghost, a trick of the mind. But Shroom looked very real. His smile was quiet and warm. "You came back, Billy," Shroom's ghost said. Billy nodded and stepped into the car. "Yes," Billy said, "I think this is my destiny. For 2 weeks, I thought I knew things these normal people did not know, believing they were stupid. But I was wrong. The normal people are the main characters here. This is their country. I fought in the war, but it is their war. I just do the dirty work." Shroom's ghost nodded slowly. "We are all children of this country, Billy. But you have to leave home to grow up, even if you die far away. The bullet that will kill you is already flying. It is time for you to carry the heavy load now." Billy sat down in his seat. He felt a strange pride. It was a dark feeling. Normal society did not want the soldiers. The soldiers were outsiders, but they had something special. The soldiers were willing to die for the men sitting next to them. Not for the flag, not for the rich men, just for each other. Billy's face went hard. The boy was gone, and the soldier remained. "I am ready," Billy said to the ghost. "I love you, brother," Shroom said, and faded away into the shadows. Billy turned his head. He looked at his friends, and then he looked at Dime. Billy was taking Shroom's place now. "I love you guys," Billy said. His voice was loud and clear. The 7 soldiers looked back at Billy. The jokes and the complaining finally stopped. "I love you too," one friend said. "Love you, man," another said. "Hell yeah," Dime said from the front. The driver started the engine, and the big car shook. "Seat belts, ladies," Dime yelled. The heavy car pulled away from the stadium. It drove into the dark night. The bright lights and the loud cheering slowly faded away. Inside the car, it was dead quiet. Billy sat shoulder to shoulder with his brothers. Nobody looked back.
太棒了，你把故事听完了，你离英语自由又近了一步。欢迎加入频道会员，支持频道发展。会员可获得影片的中英文对照学习资料、跟读练习视频、影片、MP3 文件等福利。这里是像学母语一样学英语频道，我们下个视频见。